I'm Jen Rouse, and this is Malibu and Me. After becoming an empty nester and returning to Malibu, I'm learning what it means to begin again. Please join me each week as I unpack the messy, meaningful, and magical parts of midlife transformation. A new chapter written by me for me. This is Malibu and Me. Welcome back, everybody, to Malibu and Me. And I have Kimberly, who everybody knows. Hi, Kimberly. And again, Lauren is back because she's just my favorite person. And I keep doing these wonderful workshops with you. And I have to share with the world like how incredible my experiences are and what I keep learning. And it was so great. So welcome back.
Thank you. I'm in a different seat.
You're in a different seat, and you get to talk to both of us because I think the Four Agreements, and that was, it's a wonderful book that I had read years ago. And you said, we're going to do this workshop on how to implement the Four Agreements into your life with EFT tapping, which we do every Thursday, and your human design. So tell the audience about how you came up with this idea, what it entailed, and then I'll get to like chime in on my experience with it because it was fascinating.
Okay, great. Well, I feel like the running joke in the Thursday class is like, Lauren, what happened in your existence this week? Because that's what we usually tap on. And with this one, I got upset with a friend of mine who, I was like trying to think, I was like, how short do I make this story? But basically like, I assumed something and then I took it personal, right? Because the Four Agreements are be impeccable with your words, don't take things personally, don't make assumptions, and always do your best, right? And so I did both of those. I assumed and then I took it personal. And then I quickly, thought about it and I was like, you know what? She's got two kids that are running her into the ground. I was like, she just sprained her ankle. I guarantee you she did not try to hurt me on purpose.
Yeah.
And so I was like, but this happens so much. And when you're just aware of the Four Agreements, you noticed how often they just show up in your life, when we are not being impeccable with our words, we're picking ourselves apart in the mirror, or like, oh my God, and the grays, and look at this, and just like, oh, I should be doing more. And then taking things personally. It's like somebody could say one thing and you're like, you start to make it mean something about you, and then changing that. You're like, what? Because they said so, and then we're making assumptions because our mind likes to fill in the blanks of we don't know. And sometimes we just don't ask, my husband's like, I would really like you to not assume that just because I didn't think to offer fast enough that I don't want to help you. I was like, don't come at me with logic.
I hate it when my husband does that.
And then always do your best. And that looks different every day, right? Some days our best is 100%, and other days it's 50% or 20%. And you just want to lay on the couch and binge watch TV, and that's okay. And we just have to let ourselves do that, right? But we start comparing ourselves to other people who are just killing it. Anyways, I thought I would love to do this in a class, but Thursdays are 45 minutes, and I was like, we can't fit this. And so I wanted to do a workshop on this. And basically you have these Four Agreements, right? But we've made tons of other agreements, the way that we speak to ourselves and all that. So the best way to break those so we could start living these is through EFT.
And Can you explain EFT for those of us that have not done it? Because every time I hear EFT or tapping, I'm thinking of a bunch of people sitting around going if you're not watching.
Well, you kind of are. You kind of are doing this.
What are we doing? We're just it reminds me of somebody that has some special situation going on.
Yeah. You've got twitches.
Yeah.
No, so what you do is you tap on your acupressure points, right? Oh. Like you think of acupuncture, right? And everybody's really familiar, but it's acupressure, those are the points that you're putting the pins in, right? But you have these certain ones that talk to the fight or flight part of your brain, that amygdala part of your brain.
Oh, get out.
And it gets there's actually scientific evidence, my husband loves the scientists,
he wants to know the proof.
There's proof. But what it does, so it's like it's talking to that fight or flight part of your brain and saying like, okay, you can release this now. It's actually not that scary, because what do? We hold on to these things, right? And when you can release them, then we can create like positive neural pathways. So you can like break these things, like any trauma, any fears, just anything that's like negative. So you tap on like what's troubling you, which kind of sounds like you're affirming the negative, but what you're doing is you're looking at the dirt before you clean it,
Wow.
and then you can fill it up with positive stuff. So like, if you're tapping on like being impeccable with your words, like, that can be tied into I'm not enough. So we would tap on like, I'm not enough. I'm not enough. I'm not enough, till your brain like lets that go. And then you can fill it in with like other positive things. So that's why I always include tapping, because I like to actually get some work done,
So it's an energetic clearing is what
Yeah.
it really is. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, and it's actually like rewiring your brain, So instead of like talk therapy, like you're actually like releasing all that trauma of like, so and so said this to me in 5th grade, and now that's why I'm like this. And you're like, I'm just gonna let that go. So then you can look back on that that experience and have no emotional charge to it, where it's like, that doesn't bother me anymore and it doesn't define who I am, and now we can move forward. And so that's why like letting go of all these different agreements and all these different categories, that we've made, like, can actually make some actual change, and I think you were saying certain things that you weren't even aware of, like, were coming up in this, right?
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened? So wait, this is so good.
So we did the
happened
tapping, which I always do the tapping on Thursdays, and I didn't realize how much that really does not only calm your nervous system, because you do come in charged with other things.
Yeah.
I mean, Friday I
life.
definitely did, and I just like worked through those feelings, and then you are in a better place to like listen to the good.
Right.
And I think when you threw in the human design piece
Right.
to trying to hold these 4 agreements,
Yeah.
it's very interesting. And I think we talked
Right.
even after class about having, yes, you're not going to be able to change some of your like your patterns, but being aware of them
Right. Right.
helps you. So like I have a wave to my
Emotions.
to my emotions, and I never knew what that meant.
Right.
And it just, I can wake up happy for no reason, and I can wake up kind of sad for no reason. And my day and my emotions can change all the time. And I
Right.
know they do for people.
Right.
But I would say that has a lot of the, not taking it personally,
Yeah.
knowing my self-worth, taking a beat and waiting for those emotions to level out and feel like, okay, wait, and having that self-awareness. I think
Right.
we talked about just having self-awareness.
Right. Well, that's like what we were trying to do. It's like you create awareness because you need awareness to change, right? And then that's when we were using like EFT to release it. And then you can start to like take action.
I like
And
it.
then it's just like I gave a little worksheet, so that people could like write down like fill in the blanks on their own tapping.
No, it's really good.
Here it is. So that they can start to fill in, because I do kind of like generic where it's like anybody can resonate to like what we're tapping on, but then you could fill in the blanks and get really specific at home. Like, even though my mom said like this to me when I was 12 and I stopped, dancing or singing or whatever because I thought I was terrible, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. And then like you can move through things that are really personal. So
I
just
love
thought-
in the 4 agreements. And for those of you who have not listened to it or read it, you can listen to it. Right now I'm going through my 2nd run of the book. And it's really interesting. And you have it in your sheet here. It talks about your words create your reality. Speak truthfully, avoid self-criticism, and don't use your voice to harm yourself or others. It's so interesting that they talked about the power of your words and how powerful they really are because they shape your reality and other people's reality.
Right.
I just think that's so poignant. What does this mean to you about the power of your voice and your words, each of you? I'm just curious.
Well, I love like in the book how he compares it. It's like they're magic. You know, you can use it for good or evil, right? But just like even, you know, one of my daughters, it's like she's 10 and she was looking in the mirror and she was like kind of picking herself apart at 10. And I grabbed her and I was like, look at me. I need you to find like the things that you love about yourself. I was like, I need you to always find things to love about yourself and your body. I was like, it's always going to be changing. And I just need you to find the positive. I was like, so turn around, look in the mirror and say something nice. And she was like, okay.
Yeah.
But it's so true.
You're bullying her
it's
into loving herself. Good mom.
Listen.
That's good though.
But I think like when you catch yourself, right? And then being really careful with other people, like when you say things, you know, you want to like, you know, you don't want to like cut anybody down. And you can, you know, be really mindful with that. I think that's like a big one that I was trying to get with your human design, having your open throat. It's like, it's key to think of exactly what you want to say, be really intentional with what you're saying.
Yeah.
You know,
it's hard for me because I have the open throat. So
yeah.
I don't voice I don't. And then suddenly I'll just like blurt. And it's so true.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll just blurt out when I lose my frustration, I'll finally lose it,
Right.
you know, or I will just be too blunt
Right.
and not really, and too emotional.
Right.
With my emotional
I
ways.
know.
So
Yeah.
too emotional, too blunt, and then you lose all credibility.
Right.
My mom used to say that. She'd
Right.
be like, don't be upset or angry when you talk to somebody because then you've lost all your credibility.
Yeah. They'll just focus on how you behave badly instead of the point you're trying to get across.
And not that my feelings weren't valid,
Absolutely.
you know? And so, yes, I have an opinion and my opinion matters and my voice matters and what I think matters, but I have to do it constructively.
Yeah.
And consistently, because I used to actually, when I was growing up, I used to be exactly like that, Jen.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Really? And
yes.
you're not.
I know.
I know, like you can't even imagine it. Yeah.
It took a lot of work because
Yeah.
I used to suppress my feelings a lot. You know, you model
Right.
things, right? And
Yes.
our parents' generation was that of stoicism and, you know.
Shut up and just, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. And so we probably both modeled that, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And I had to undo that and work through consistently, like as things came up, you know, you immediately address it, even small things. Like, for example, like festering with a husband or a partner or whatever.
Yeah.
I know can be tricky. And my husband really taught me this, but there's a way to express when something bothers you in a way that's respectful,
Right.
and timely. And it's, if you haven't had it modeled, it's hard to know how to do it, but he's really good at it
Yeah.
because I watch the way his mom does it too.
Yeah.
So he actually really helped me to
Yeah.
be able to say, hey, babe, do you mind making the bed since you got up after I did, for example, or
Right.
whatever the thing is,
Right,
you know, but because as opposed to the old me
Say
is
nothing.
saying nothing, begrudgingly making the bed and being like, why couldn't he do this? He should have been. And then I'm now, you know, holding on to this, right? And then one day when something else maybe got me ruffled and and then I lose it.
Right.
And then you explode and then you're the raging bitch. And then that's not going to resonate. All he's going to see is a raging bitch, not
Right.
someone that's a partner that just wants you to simply make the bed.
Right.
So that consistent communication of your
Yeah.
feelings is, for me, that's been the hardest thing and the best thing to master.
Right.
So that you don't suppress your feelings and then explode. That's what I'm getting from what you had said.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
So Lauren, how do you heal us?
I know.
What's the answer?
Some EFT. But even like, I think one of the biggest ones when you think about like creating magic or, you know, like casting spells, you know, how many of us like wake up and you're like, I'm tired. And then you're tired, you know, like just little things like that you just notice. When I'm like, you know, I'm trying to teach the girls, I'm like, tell yourself you'll feel better after you brush your teeth.
Self-talk.
Yeah, you know, the self-talk. It's so funny, like trying to shift that that language with yourself.
Because it frames our reality.
Yeah. And that's why, like, when it comes down to like doing your best, it's like, it's just going to take practice. And the book like takes 2 hours to listen to, right?
Yes.
Like, something
That's
about
it.
that.
Yes,
I mean,
that's
I
right.
did it on my walk one morning.
It's just nice. Yeah. To like have that reminder. Right.
Let's go through some of the other ones in greater depth. Well, actually, sorry. Before we move on, I wanted to ask both of you. The first one, be impeccable with your word. And they talk about how important that really is to others and to yourself. Is there anyone in your life that is somebody that is impeccable with their word? And if so, what has that meant to you?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. It's like, I always say that my best friend, Teresa, like, is the only person I know that actually lives the 4 agreements. And it's wild, like, starting from, well, I just look at myself in the mirror and I tell myself I'm beautiful, and then I'm beautiful.
Okay, I love her.
And this is the girl that like will go out with like zit cream on her face in full sweats, and then like and I'll be like next to her like all done up, and she will be the one to get hit on 4 times. Wow. She's just like, no, like, it's great. I'm perfect. I love myself. I love my Buddha belly, like, because, her weight will fluctuate. And she's like, and when I gain weight and my boobs get bigger, I was like,
she just embraces it all.
So funny. But she also like doesn't take things personally. And I'll be like, no, someone was just literally telling you that you sucked. And she was like, oh, that's okay.
I love her.
She just moves on. The one thing she does make assumptions, but they're always to the positive. And I'll be like, it's so funny, like, where I'll even say like I don't know, I'm like, well, like, you don't have to wear a lot of makeup, you're just naturally pretty, and we'll go on our conversation. She'll be like, well, I mean, like, you just compared me to a supermodel, and I was like, I didn't mean to do that, so
I love her. We need her on here.
She's so funny. I'm like, whatever.
Positive.
And she's always like giving her best, she's like killing it like every day. And sometimes like I tell her she needs to sleep more, but
Rest,
then she's like, she's like nice to herself about it. She doesn't like beat herself up. And I'm like, I love that. It's my kid's godmother. Like, I love that they get to see
that model.
What good looks like.
Yeah.
Besides you.
And I'm always like, what would TT say to you right now? If like something happened or they got like a scar and they're like, it adds character.
Wait, that is so cute.
So good. But yeah, so she's like a great role model. I don't know if like if you like who that person is for you. Like,
I mean, I think it's been hard because I see I think Kimberly is, to be honest. Like, she's definitely somebody that I think is very impeccable with her word.
Yeah.
I paid Jen to say that.
No paid. Nobody's paid here.
Too.
No, she's just really, since I've met you, and not that you don't have hard times and you aren't challenged and you aren't, but you say who you are who you are. You don't gossip, which I think that's in the book.
That's right.
Because
Impeccable
that
with Your Words
paints
is like
a picture
no
for somebody who hasn't met maybe that other person, to try to paint them in a negative light. And you never put anything in a negative light. You are always extremely positive about your relationship, your husband, and, good or bad, and like the kids, and you take your faults and you turn them into like, well, I'm doing, this is what's like having 3 kids and trying to get around. And, I think you just exude this element of like, I'm doing my best, and I really do find that like remarkable. And you really helped me through the loss of my mom and getting through that grief. And I think that was your biggest challenge. And yet here you are just, going forward and doing your best still, and knowing your mom is watching, and knowing you're showing that to the world and your children. You're a great model for your children. You're a businesswoman, you're successful, you're, and you're funny. And I just think that that's been like, you've been a real big role model for me, and learning how to podcast and use my voice and not be afraid and be authentic and share this gift that, I knew I had deep within me, and I wanted to, bring that to light. And so you're it. I mean, to to me now. I think all the other people in my life, we try, you know, and everybody tries, but I think that you are a phenomenal woman and have a lot to share with the, no, you better not cut it.
You came on this episode.
I'm sorry. I'm so shocked. Thank you. That was really,
that's true. And I haven't known you very long, but at the time that I have, you've always shown me that you're impeccable with your word, you know?
Thank you, Jen. That really, like, I'm sorry, I'm a little stunned because that all means so much. I'm really taken aback. Thank you. That is so kind of you.
It's true. And you know, you got to take a compliment.
I'm sorry. I'm just really,
we all don't take
nice.
compliments well, but
Thank
like,
you. I appreciate
you really do. You are so positive. You lift people up. And I think that that's what your business was modeled after, to do that. And I'm trying to be one of, you know, your ambassadors. You know,
you're hired.
Killing
Thank you
it
for that testimonial. No, that is truly so kind. And I really
and Lauren's taught me so much in different ways too. I think I've been able to like really confide in her about, for me, my struggles with others and being, you know, sort of, I feel like I'm sometimes a sponge and I absorb like everything around me and energy around me. And I think that I've learned to try to, I think just in our EFT and our grounding every week, just, you know, learning to like have a barrier of that, you know, like I don't need to absorb everybody's thing, or recognizing that that is not mine.
And her EFT, how has Lauren helped you to set that boundary and like, just really understand where someone else's energy is not yours?
The tapping really does help me because it does do something in my brain, because I think I'm a real thinker. I'm a spinner. So like I get like in my head and I can like I can repeat the same thing in my head, like round and round and round and never make sense of it. And I think it just like, okay, this is not mine. I'm going to release this. You know, like, even though this person hurt me.
Right.
Even though.
You
know, I love and accept myself for who I am. And I'm not going to take it personally.
How does, when somebody is on that hamster wheel of, let's just say, replaying a traumatic event or an upsetting whatever event, because I tend to ruminate as well, and I see my sister does it.
Yeah.
Where, you know, you keep revisiting a situation.
Right.
I don't know if that's a OCD tendency, by the way.
No, I have that too.
I think we all have that tendency, just depending on, like, I think it's a sliding scale.
Okay, so we're all crazy. I just wanted to confirm
because
that.
like on the don't make assumptions, it's like that is a lot of overthinking, right? Because that's like a lot of future tripping, because then you're like prepping yourself, or you're like thinking about the night before and what did I say, and I could have said this better, and I could have like is that like you're thinking like on that hamster wheel,
or someone said something negative about us and it hurts, and instead of being able to let it go, we absorb it and we replay it, and what caused them to not let, you know, whatever the thing is.
Right.
How do we, why, help us.
That's like, so that's where EFT is so easy, because it will break up that pattern for you, right? And anybody can tap at home. And this is like what I love to say. So you could just be like replaying, but saying it out loud, right? And tapping on that and letting that go. And other things I love to do, it's like, you know, mindfulness stuff of like, what's happening right now? And is this actually going to like affect me? Because like really people can't like disrupt your peace if you don't let them, you know, because you're like, I have a, you know, great family. I have a great partner. I have a great business. I have great friends. And sometimes when you just look at all the positive around you, that you're like, it's not really that big in my pie chart, right?
And that's part of the thing that they talk about in the book about the agreements.
Right.
You can't like receive somebody else's like negative comments or whatever their thing is, their projections onto you, unless you agree to it. That part is so powerful.
I know. So that just takes practice. But like, I remember like I had like years ago, there was somebody who was like in my life that just loved to create drama. And I was like, I am not used to this, you know, like, and like, even like in high school, like I don't know, like I just dodged a bullet. So it was like kind of shocking to experience this like in my 20s. And I I just made a list of all the people that like made me happy, you know? And I was like, well, there's so many people that make me happy, and like, let's just focus on them.
Yeah.
And it was just a quick pivot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like of course, like I tap all the time. So it's like,
So you're that's in your car and you're like, stop replaying or.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I can disassociate with like a lot of like little things quickly, but like I'll be driving in the car, and if I'm like about to lose it, like I'll start tapping, and my kids will like be like, oh my God. You know, like little things like that.
Can I tap on like someone else that like needs to stop something?
Yeah. Stop that. Don't do that. But another one of my tricks too is that if I feel like I've said something poorly, it's like, learn the lesson. And then I always say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And that's to myself, you know?
Oh,
and then
yourself.
just like a forgiveness thing to myself. Like, okay, I really could have handled that better. Like when I got upset with my friend who, you know, clearly didn't mean to hurt me, you know, and I was like, hey, you did this. I was like, okay, well, we didn't need to go at her, right? So I was like, I apologized to her, and then I apologized to myself, and then I had to let it go. And I was like, and she may need a few days before she like messages me back. You know, and she did, and we talk about it. And I was like, and now we're going to do a 4 agreements workshop, you know?
But I do think these workshops are so important, you know? I mean, it gets you to sit down for, you know, and we really needed more time. I would say like that was, everybody would have stayed. Yeah. I mean, everybody there would have stayed.
Wait, so what happened in the workshop? So you did the tapping first, or
so we tapped on each one.
Okay.
Like letting go of whatever those agreements were with ourselves, right? Whether like we're speaking like harshly to ourselves, right? And like even though like I've been conditioned to treat myself this way or say these things or take other people's words personally and make them mean something about me, like even though I like make assumptions, you know, and like we're breaking through each one of those. And then I had everybody kind of reflect on what came up for them, you know, like if anything specific came up. Because if like for me, when I was thinking about these, it's like, oh my God, when I was in 4th grade, you know, somebody I looked up to, she was like 2 years older than me, and we were at summer camp, and she told me, like, she was like, who do you think you are? Because like you're walking and you're like shaking your hips. Oh my God, I had been walking like a duck for years after that, you know, and my husband would call it the Tarantino Strut, until like I had thought about it, and I was like, oh, it's because of this, you know? And then I had to break that agreement, and now I think I walk normal again. Like, right?
I think you can shake your hips as much as you want, honey.
But isn't that funny?
That little brat.
But so sometimes like when you clear or you start to even tap on something like that, then it's like peeling back an onion, you know? There's just layers, and you're like, oh, well, that was something, and I'd like to break that agreement. And so I gave everybody like a worksheet where they got to like, you know, you could fill it in at home. And then I wrote like eyebrow point would be, you know, and fill in that blank of what that is, you know, so that people could like practice that at home. And then we kind of went through each agreement and what part of like your human design chart to focus on.
How does human design fold into this? I'm really curious about that.
It's like, it's bringing awareness. And I think the goal is with everything that I do, right, is like alignment. We're trying to get you back with the 4 agreements and doing all this, right? To get you back to that child self, right? Without all the things that people have dumped on you and all these things that like have imprinted on you your whole life to make you who you are. It's like peeling that away to get back to like, no, this is what I like, and this is who I am, and this is how I express myself, and this is, you know, so that the people who are meant for you can like find you, and you know, you're doing work that you love because that feels good, you know, all these little things. And so human design is a great self-discovery tool. So it's like getting people to kind of look at that and which areas of their life and their chart, you know, they can pay attention to, but also understanding that if this is how you're uniquely wired, somebody else is wired totally differently. So don't think that they think the way you do or have the same skills, right?
That is so great.
So, and that goes in with like the really like, don't make assumptions. Because it's like, I could sit here and be, or like in my home and look at the house and be like, it is a disaster. And my husband can be sitting on the couch and not see it. But I'm assuming he does. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and that it should be bothering him, right? So it's like, hey, love you. I noticed this, so I need you to fix it.
That's
you know,
true, though.
Instead of getting upset that like he's not doing it on purpose.
Right.
Yeah. And so it just like it creates awareness and compassion and, you know, acceptance.
Early on, my sister, actually, because I said something about her ruminating, but she taught me something very important that I still try and employ today, which is instead of assuming the worst, assume the best. So if somebody sucks, you know, at, you know, for you one day, whatever, they come in with a bad attitude, they're late, whatever their thing is, assume they have something they're dealing with.
Absolutely.
You know, that it has nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that just really putting that into practice goes such a long way. Have you ever kind of, have you leaned into that thought before?
Yes. And I'm trying to do that more.
Yeah. It's important.
I know.
I am. It is.
Because you would want somebody else to assume that you're doing their best.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had I stopped talking to my in-laws for a while because I felt like they kept assuming the worst in my actions, you know, but it's like, and when I opened that bridge again, I had said, listen, I don't need you to change, but I'm assuming that you're doing your best and I need you to assume that I'm doing my best. You know what I mean? And that there's good intentions there. And, you know, like things have been fine and nobody changed anything. It was just like a mindset, you know? It was
crazy.
Like, it's just wild that one thing, right, could change so much. Instead of, because, you know, they'd be like, well, you know, like you sent a text, but you really should have called. And it was like,
I'm doing my best.
Like, and literally, yes. Like, because they're looking at it like, this is what I would do. And this is what I expect you to do too. And that you're just going to set yourself up for disappointment, right?
Yeah, the assumption, and by the way, that's very like that generation versus our generation.
Right.
You know, like the phone call matters a lot, right?
Right.
So their assumption is that you would know that.
Right.
So like, don't send me a text because that's not the way that you show respect.
Right. Yeah.
You know, but in our day, for us, we're like, oh, good, she sent me a text. That was so sweet. Like, how kind
like a phone call takes too long.
Yeah, please don't call me. Actually,
well, you know, it's like somebody's like in a hospital. Like I was thinking it would be hard to answer the phone because if I'm in the hospital, I'm not answering my phone, nor do I know where it is.
Right.
You know.
Right.
So, but it's just like little things like that where you're like,
that's right.
Okay, like I'm constantly going to disappoint you if you're going to think like this.
Right.
And I can't be in a relationship with somebody I'm constantly disappointing, you know, like because I am loving, I am fun, I do love you, I do care about you. So like, can you see that?
Right.
Yeah.
And that is who you are.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to today's podcast. And I'm so glad you could join me for part 1 of this week's episode. Next week, we will dive more into the 4 agreements with Lauren and Kimberly in part 2. But if you haven't had a chance to check out your human design needs or wants or what it's about, check out episode number 46 of Malibu and Me. And we dive deep into what human design is. And it's a really fascinating episode if you didn't get a chance to check it out. So until part 2, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to Malibu and Me. Make sure to follow the show at Malibu and Me Podcast. And if this episode resonated, I'd be so grateful for a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Here's to growing, healing, and beginning again together.